Good morning. It's the 22nd of July 2026. We bring you our morning bulletin here on MITV Plus. I am Shegun Akinola. This morning, love from the president. Our security top hierarchy reaffirming their commitment. FRSC and Lagos in the news. But before we get into it, let's take a quick break and we will be back shortly. Welcome back. Let's start with some love from the top. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Mrs. Onyekonsola Badejo Okusanya SAN on her election as the first elected female president of the Nigerian Bar Association, calling it a milestone for the legal profession and a win for merit, excellence, and gender inclusion. The president, in a statement issued today by his special advisor on information strategy, Bayo Ononuga, said her emergence reflects the growing recognition of women's contributions to nation building and the administration of justice. It described her legal career as one marked by integrity, professionalism, and commitment to justice, the kind that's earned the confidence of lawyers across the country. And Tinubu says he's confident her leadership will strengthen the profession, upholding the rule of law and pushing reforms that improve access to justice for everyday Nigerians. And now to something that could change a lot for our farmers. The federal government has taken a major step towards boosting agricultural productivity, receiving the final report for the World Bank-backed $500 million Sustainable Agricultural Value Chain for Good program, AGRO for short, clearing the way for full implementation. Receiving the report at the presidential villa in Abuja, Vice President Kashim Shettima said the plan puts farmers right at the center of national economic planning, boosting productivity, strengthening value chains, and pulling in private sector investment.
He stands at the edge of the markets, credit systems, and value chains that ought to carry the weight of his labor. The soil has never been our problem. Our challenge has been the distance between the man who tills the earth and the system that determines what his labor is worth. And today we shorten that distance. I am therefore delighted to join you in marking the conclusion of a design process that restores the farmer to the center of our national economic reasoning, where he has always belonged. Today marks the transition of agro from program design to implementation. When we engaged the World Bank and requested that $500 million be earmarked for Nigerian agriculture, our objective was to develop a program rooted in the realities of our farmers, delivered through our states and capable of attracting the private investment required to move agriculture from subsistence to scale.
State governors, the Ministers of Finance and Agriculture, and the World Bank all pledged their support, calling agro a transformative intervention that should improve food security, cut poverty, and drive sustainable growth.
Well, actually, the meeting is twofold. It is a meeting of the National Technical Working Group regarding a program initiated by the federal government as well as the World Bank on a $500 million funding purely for agriculture called AGRO. So the meeting is for the Technical Working Group to submit its report, which they have taken a lot of time to do, along with about 6 states that have been selected from the 6 geographical zones of the nation. So we are happy that we are here to partner with the federal government and the World Bank.
The governor has said this is a meeting to hand over the National Technical Working Group's report on the project planning to His Excellency the Vice President, and subsequently to the implementation institution, which is the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. And like I mentioned, we have already started all the necessary documentation, the postings and appointments. What is now remaining is for the legal opinion and the borrowing plan that will go to the National Assembly for approval, and then as the financing agreements.
And our role within AGRO is quite an important one for the sector. As you know, we're the premier agri-finance institution in Nigeria, and we bring a catalytic, I'd say, support to the program. As my own minister said, We have $500 million currently. Our job is to mobilize more capital and also unlock, funding from other development partners who want to co-finance.
This report is that this is our own report now. It's not in a situation where we find the World Bank hand over projects and programs to us and implementation. Now we formed this implementation following the pain points of our farmers across the geopolitical zone. But now we looked at the agroecological zones, looked at the comparative advantage in areas, in subnationals, in states. So now we are going to be implementing our own project, our own program, and it's going to, in line with our environment and our challenges. So definitely the implementation, if followed with the recommendation from the National Working Group, then it will see the light of the day, and our farmers will be, happy.
Let's talk money again. The federal government is pushing back on concerns about its borrowing, saying it hasn't even touched half of the loans the National Assembly has approved. Finance Minister and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Professor Taiwo Oyedele, cleared this up during a special Senate hearing on the state of the economy, responding to lawmakers who are worried about rising debt, slow capital budget implementation, and continued borrowing despite improved revenue. It says a lot of Nigerians assume that once the National Assembly approves borrowing, the money is already in hand, and that's not how it works. Approval isn't disbursement. He also made the point that higher revenue doesn't automatically wipe out a budget deficit. Borrowing is still sometimes necessary to get critical projects done.
We have seen the astronomical rise in borrowing. And this borrowing is of serious concern to Nigerians. What I'm saying is in the public domain. It's not anything hidden. When this government came in, it inherited, I think, over 75 trillion naira. Now it has added almost 75 to 80 trillion naira in borrowing. And despite this, budget implementation.
So people add up big numbers as the money we have borrowed, and that is misleading in terms of the analysis. We're currently finalizing this breakdown in the Ministry of Finance. We'll make it available to the public. It will show how much the National Assembly approved and how much of that we have borrowed and how it has been spent. In addition to that...
But you have not exceeded what National Assembly has approved?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
In fact, we've not even taken half of what the National Assembly has approved.
Okay.
And we're also guided by the Fiscal Responsibility Act that only allows the government to borrow for capital expenditure and human development. So we are mindful of that. The other important issue is that, and the distinguished senator...
2025 budget has not been implemented. And we have to roll over 70% of 2025 to 2026. And that with the promise that 30% will be implemented before March. Up to March, even 30% was not implemented. National Assembly has to extend the lifespan of the budget up to September to allow government to implement just 30% component of 2025 budget. The issue of 2026 have not arisen completely, has not arisen. Has not even started up in issue. It has not even arisen. So, don't you think is it not contradictory? Or why are these revenues going to?
Infrastructure, it's 10 naira. We looked at all our numbers and we say we can generate 6 naira. 6 naira is our revenue target. Our expenditure is 10. If we end up generating revenue of 7 naira, we will say we have exceeded our revenue target. It's not a lie. But we still need 3 naira to balance the budget because we need to spend 10. So this is the reason why both can coexist. Government can exceed revenue target and still have to borrow. And in terms of where the money is going, this is one of the analyses we are working on. in the Ministry of Finance. Very soon we're going to be able to release it, putting numbers to it. But just to give a couple of examples.
After the session, the Senate Committee on Finance went into a closed-door meeting with the government's economic management team. Over in the Senate, the Safe Schools Initiative probe just got bigger. Lawmakers have extended the mandate of their ad hoc committee by 3 weeks and widened the investigation to pull in TED Fund, NEL Fund, UBEC, the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, and NSIPA. Committee Chairman Senator Orji Uzor Kalu told his colleagues that preliminary findings show strong links between the initiative and several federal agencies tied to education funding, student welfare, and social intervention. Following a voice vote, the Senate approved the extension.
School, we're supposed to submit our reports, and there are few more areas that we have not gone. So I needed the permission of the Senate to mention it so that we can conclude in the next 2-3 weeks and come back with the report, if I have the permission.
Is it the view of the Senate that they be allowed to have 2-3 weeks? Because I think, in my opinion, even interim report could have been okay if you don't have the full report.
No, Mr. President, there are some places we have not visited because of time of campaigning for nomination, and all the rest of them affected us. So it made it very impossible to go to some places we're supposed to go.
Is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to have the 3 weeks extension? Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So without stress, you have your extension.
The House of Representatives isn't letting the South Africa xenophobia issue go quietly either. Lawmakers have resolved to investigate the recurring attacks on Nigerians there, including allegations that the South African government may have contributed to or even be complicit in some of the violence. This follows a motion by Babajimi Benson directing the House Committee on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs to carry out a full probe. The committees are expected to assess casualties, losses, damages, and abandoned properties, documenting the cumulative toll on Nigerians over the years. Lawmakers also want the panels to recommend diplomatic steps to better protect Nigerians in South Africa and push for accountability for the perpetrators.
To comprehensively document the losses suffered by Nigerians, thereby denying the federal government and the National Assembly an authoritative evidential basis for policy formulation, legislative intervention, and sustained diplomatic negotiations. The House recognizes that a comprehensive legislative inquiry has become imperative, not merely to establish responsibility for the recent attacks, but also to document the cumulative human, economic, and social consequences of xenophobic violence against Nigerians in South Africa, with a view to recommending enduring legislative, diplomatic, and institutional solutions for the protection and reparation systems for Nigerians in diaspora. Accordingly, the House resolves to mandate the Committee on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs to investigate the losses, damages, and casualties suffered, take inventory of property abandoned by Nigerians arising from previous and recent xenophobic attacks in the Republic of South Africa, recommend appropriate diplomatic initiatives, legal mechanisms, and bilateral engagements to ensure accountability for perpetrators, enhance protection of Nigerian residents in South Africa, and ensure effective implementation of relevant international human rights obligations, and report within 4 weeks.
Now, back to the fake agency story we've been following. The office of the head of the civil service and the Central Bank of Nigeria have both moved to distance themselves from the Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council and the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, as the House ad hoc committee digs deeper into just how legal or illegal these councils really are. Head of the civil service, Mrs. Didi Esther Wilson-Jack, told the committee her office doesn't create government agencies, it only approves their administrative structures. She revealed the council sought a recruitment waiver during the 2025 manpower budget defense and later asked for approval for 314 positions, 14 existing, 300 new. But here's the catch. Our office says it later found irregularities in the very documents the council used to justify its own existence. And the CBN backed that up, saying 2 foreign currency accounts opened for the councils at the request of the Accountant General's office have sat completely dormant. No deposits, no transactions ever.
Accordingly, the committee's assignment should be guided by clear terms of reference. First, it should determine the legal basis, if any, for the establishment and operation of the Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council. Second, it should investigate the circumstances surrounding the creation of the council, including processes through which it came to existence, and whether these processes complied with the Constitution and extant laws.
We can state categorically that the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation did not allocate any office space to the PEAC-PFICP. The office space indicated as the Council's physical address in the Federal Secretariat Phase 3 is part of the office spaces allocated to the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, bid letter dated 16 November 2023, to reallocate as they deem fit for the use of the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and presidential aids.
So after opening this account, we did not receive any correspondent to collect signature mandate cards, or we are not introduced of who is the authorizing officers or who is the approving officers. We were not introduced with that. Based on that, those accounts remain inactive with zero balance and have never been operated. Those 2 accounts have never been operated.
As part of the documents for opening that account, you said you require 1 authorization from the Office of the Accountant General. Don't you require also an act authorizing the creation of that entity?
David Jacob Oluwafemi, and again, you are widening the information you are giving us is giving us more work because we thought we are investigating one agency. We didn't know that the name of the fake agencies are 2 in 1. They always put Presidential Economic Advisory Council / Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council. And yet his letter of appointment does not carry that Presidential Economic Advisory Council, but if they are writing to agency, they will include 1 other agency. He was a DG to 2 different agencies. We can, based on the evidence before us, he was a DG to Presidential Economic Advisory Council, as well as a Director General to Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council. We have all the facts here. So thank you, Clark. Write to them. Write to Federal Character, because the approval for waiver given to them have extended to Budget Office and Federal Character. So,
the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, retired, is not happy this morning. He's vowing legal action against whoever is behind the rumors of his resignation, saying he was genuinely shocked and has no idea where the story even came from. Musa arrived at the villa around 3 p.m. on Tuesday and left after 4 p.m., right in the middle of all this speculation. Coming out of the meeting, it denied any resignation talk took place, calling the rumors a deliberate attempt to shake public confidence in the administration's security gains. He said it was simply a routine security briefing and that the president expressed satisfaction with how the military is performing.
When I saw that, I don't know where that came from. But, well, you always expect that there'll be people that will not be happy when things are going well. Security situation is improving, things are getting better. And so for them, is a sad point, and they will always want to make it look as if it's not so. I'm not going anywhere. I have never discussed. I don't even know who the person who brought that information. But whoever he is, we'll take the legal action against him. I'm sure we'll get him. He will come and explain who gave him such information. But I assure Nigerians that we're fully. You can see I just came back from briefing Mr. President on the current security situation, and he's very happy with us. And now we're going to continue doing well.
And it's not just the defense minister. The Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, is also shutting down resignation rumors about himself, calling them false. And again, the work of people trying to undermine the country's improving security picture. Speaking after briefing President Tinubu at the villa, the IGP said he's never discussed resignation with anyone. And he too is threatening legal action against whoever is spreading the story. He insists security is actually improving nationwide and that criminal elements simply aren't happy about the gains being made against terrorism and banditry. He's assured Nigerians and police that the police force remains focused on protecting lives and property, and is urging the public to ignore false information designed to cause unnecessary panic. And down in Kebbi, the Federal Road Safety Corps has been busy. 39 vehicles impounded during an ongoing special enforcement operation across the state. Sector Commander Mrs. Rukaya Zakaria briefed journalists in Birin Kebbi yesterday, saying the operation, which kicked off July 20th, is targeting overloading, mixed loading, route violations, and other offenses that put road users at risk. The operation has been codenamed Daidaita Lodi and Lodi Limit, and it's running simultaneously across all 7 of FRSC operational units in the state. The goal, she says, is simple: better compliance, fewer crashes. And a lovely one to end this segment on Lagos State. Lagos State reaffirming its commitment to inclusive education after a student at Songo Senior Secondary Inclusive School gave the permanent secretary a hand-drawn portrait of well herself. The presentation happened at the ministry's Alausa headquarters on Monday. The artist, young Michael Oluwadamilare, whose drawing had officials genuinely impressed by how much it looked like permanent secretary Abisola Dokumu Adegbite. While receiving it, she said the boy's talent is a proof of why educational opportunity matters for learners with disabilities, and she praised the school's teachers for nurturing that kind of ability. Lagos, she says, remains committed to helping every child discover and grow their talents, no matter the physical, sensory, or learning challenges they face. So now we go to the foreign scene. A big shake-up in Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky has dismissed the country's army commander-in-chief, Oleksandr Syrskyi. This comes just days after the removal of popular defense minister Mikhailo Fedorov, a move that actually triggered street protests across the country. Turns out the early rumors were right. Fedorov's exit was tied to a real conflict between him and Syrskyi. Fedorov, just 35, had built a reputation for energizing the ministry, transforming the armed forces, and leading a real drive against corruption. Syrskyi, 60, was seen by many as more of an old-school commander, reluctant to embrace radical change. He's been replaced by Mikhailo Drapati, 43, a popular battle-hardened general. Over to France now, and some sad news. 2 firefighters have died battling a huge blaze near Bordeaux Airport in the southwest. French media reports the fire started as a brush fire near one of the airport's parking lots, then spread to a building. Social media footage shows passengers getting off a plane as a massive plume of smoke rises nearby. About 100 firefighters backed by specialist aircraft are still working to put it out. Interior Minister Laurent Nunez confirmed the deaths, and a number of flights into Bordeaux Merignat Airport have been delayed. And finally, in sports, a proper transfer shock this morning. Chelsea have completed the signing of England midfielder Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa for a British record transfer fee of £117 million. Rogers flew back from the US on Monday, straight off England's World Cup campaign, to undergo his medical in London and signed a 6-year deal with an option for a further year. I'm joining the biggest club in London, he said in his announcement video. The way the club wants to go and how it wants to move forward is something I want to be a part of. I think I just want it perfect for me. I just can't wait to get going. Nobody saw that one coming. And that's it on the news on Breakfast Express this morning. A big thank you to Barrister Jide Ologun. Thanks so much for joining us, sir.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so please follow us on all our social media platforms. It's at MITV Plus on Facebook, at MITV Plus _NG on Instagram, TikTok, and X. You can also catch our programs live on YouTube at MITV Plus _NG. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So we go over to Tonwan Okpaye for an in-depth discussion on the stories that made the news. I am Shegun Akinola. Have a wonderful day ahead.